Hello and welcome back to a problem. It is random. The problem name is maximum trains for which stoppage can be provided. So this is one of the standard problems in greedy algorithms. Right? If you start solving greedy algorithms, it is most probable that you will come across this problem. Now, what is the problem statement? The objective: find maximum trains for which stoppage can be provided. But before that, let us understand what the problem actually is. So it clearly says that we are given n platforms. Right? There are n number of platforms in the railway station and two main running railway track for both directions. Right? So basically, you have a railway station. There are many platforms, n number of platforms, and along with it, you have two main running tracks. Right? What is this used for? The trains which needs to stop at your station, the trains which actually want to stop at our station, must occupy one of the platform for their stoppage. Right? While the train which is not interested to stop at our station will basically run away through either of the main track without stopping. So basically we have n number of platforms and two main running tracks. If a train wants to stop in our railway station, basically it should occupy one of the platforms. If it is not interested in stopping, it will basically follow one of the main tracks and just go out of the station. Now each train has three values. So basically for every train you have a set of trains, right, given, and for every train you have three values. What are the three values? The first value is the arrival time, second value given is departure time, and the third is the platform number in which the train is going to arrive. Right? So we are given m such trains. How many trains are there? M number of trains. Now given that, we have to tell maximum number of trains for which we can provide stoppage at our station. That's the point. So basically we have to find out the maximum number of trains for which we can provide stoppage at our station. Let us understand this with an example. Now suppose I have this number of trains. How many trains are there? Basically m equal to 6. So 6 trains are there. And the arrival time and departure time is given. Okay. The arrival time, this is the departure time. And this is the platform number in which the train is going to come. Focus on platform number 1 first. There are 3 trains which is going to come in platform number 1. Let us write them first. So arrival time, departure time, platform number 1, right? So since I'm talking about platform number 1, so all the trains which will stop at platform number 1, I'll write their details here. So arrival time is 1000 hours, departure time is 1030 hours. Arrival time is 1010 hours, departure time is 1020 hours. Arrival time is 1025 hours, departure time is 1040 hours. Now you see, basically all these trains are going to stop at platform number 1 only, nowhere else, right? They are meant to be stopping at platform number 1. Now suppose I allow this train to stop in platform number 1. So if this train basically stops in platform number 1, so this is train number 1, suppose train number 2, train number 3, T1, T2, T3. So suppose this train basically stops at platform number 1, then what will happen? Platform number 1 is occupied by which train? T1. Now if this train wants to come, now basically it is going to arrive at 10:10, right? It is going to arrive at 10:10, but you see train 1 has occupied it till 10:30, right? So arrival time of this train is basically less than the departure time of this train. So do you think platform number 1 will be allocated to this at any time? No, right? Because this train number 1 has occupied it till 10:30 hours, but this train 2 is arriving at 10:10. That time the platform will not be vacant. Platform 1 will not be vacant. Got the point? And similarly, if I look for this 10:25, this train 3 will be coming at 10:25, and if T1 is already allocated the platform, and this train 3 will also be not given a chance to stop in the platform number 1, and hence it has to just pass through the main line. Why? Because you see 10:25 it will come, and train 1 will depart at 10:30. So by this approach, if I just give train 1, if I allocate this station platform to train 1, what will happen? Only one train can stop at this particular platform. Okay, so platform 1, only one train can stop out of these trains. Now suppose I don't allocate platform platform number 1 to T1, means I will not allow T1 to stop at platform 1, and I give a chance to train number 2. Now train number 2 basically what happens? It will arrive at 10:10 and it will depart at 10:20. So right now platform number 1 I didn't give chance to T1. T1 just went through the main line. T2 stops at platform number 1. Now the moment T2 stops at platform number 1, we know that T2 will basically depart at 10:20 hours, right? And then next time if T3 comes, T3's arrival time is 10:25 hours, which is basically greater than or equal to the departure time of the previous train. See, 10:25 hours, which means by that time platform number 1 will be vacant. So basically once T2 goes out, T3 can basically easily come and take the place. So this way I was able to maximize the number of trains that can stop in my platform. How many trains? You see, 2 trains basically can stop at our platform. Got the point? And if I allocate T1, then only 1 train was able to stop in our platform. So this problem is similar to the activity selection problem. Activity selection problems, remember? So this is a prerequisite. Before you watch this video, just give a watch to activity selection problem. I have already uploaded that video. Activity selection problem states that we have to basically maximize the number of tasks that can be completed in an interval. Okay, within an interval you have to maximize the number of tasks that you can complete, right? Like this, in the interval I have to maximize the number of trains I can pick up to stop in platform number 1, right? Same problem. So I hope you got the point. Similarly, I will pick up all the trains in platform number 2 and I will find out how can I maximize the number of trains that will stop in platform number 2, right? So that was an overview about the problem. Now, how we are going to approach this particular problem? The algorithm that we are going to follow, first of all, we will create vector for each platform, right? You see, there are 3 platforms available. So I will be creating a vector for each platform and I will push the train details into their corresponding platform vector. What the point? For example, this train is going to stop at platform number 1. So basically these details of the train will be pushed into the vector of platform number 1, right? And likewise for all the other trains. Platform number 2. So these trains details will be pushed into the vector for platform number 2. Got it? Then I will apply activity selection algorithm, right? Activity selection algorithm to each platform, right? And that's it. Return the count. So basically you see, we have a railway station, right? And there are many platforms inside it. How many platforms? They have clearly mentioned n platforms. So this is my railway station. These are the platforms. Now my objective was to maximize the number of trains for which we can provide stoppage at our station. So how many trains can stop at the entire station? That if you just dive into detail, it is nothing, but you basically have to calculate how many trains can stop at each platform maximum. How many trains can stop at each platform at maximum? Just calculate them using the activity selection problem and you just add them. Summation. What do you point? This is what we are going to do. So anyway, let us now start implementing the code. So you see we have m number of trains. These are basically nothing but trains, and n equal to 3 is nothing but platforms, number of platforms. This is an array which is given, and this array is nothing but m cross 3, which means m number of rows are there. And what is m? The number of trains. So for each train we have a row. And why 3? Because 3 columns are there. The first one is arrival time, second one is departure time, and the third one is basically nothing but the platform number. So arrival time, departure time, platform number. These 3 details are given. What is the very first task we have to do? Create a vector for each platform. So for that particular reason, what I'm going to do is basically now you see this function will be called, right? These details will be passed to the maxstop function. The array will be passed, the number of trains and the number of platforms argument as passed. So I received them. Now what should I do? Basically, let me increase it. So fine. So we are now going to basically declare vector. So vector, I'll be declaring pairs, okay? Int, comma int, and the name will be pf, and how many of them? N plus 1. Why n plus 1? You see, I will basically be creating a vectors, okay? So let me use this space. This is my platform, right? So this is my vector. So how many platforms are there? 3 platforms. So basically n equal to 3, right? So basically I'll be creating 4 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Why 4? So this is my name of the vector pf. This is pf of 0. This is pf of 1, pf of 2, pf of 3, right? Now this will basically push to platform number 1, means here. 2 means here. If there was 3, it should be pushed here, right? This is just because we know that indexing basically starts from 0, right? So in order to avoid any complications, we can directly point to this value and push it in the corresponding vector. You'll understand it later. Now see. So we basically declared a vector of pf n plus 1. Basically, if n is the number of platforms, so 3, and I'll be creating 4 such vectors, right? One indexing starts from 0, 1, 2, and 3. Now see what happens. Now I will basically traverse my entire array that I have received, which is the array I have received ARR. I will be traversing it, right? Let's see how I will traverse. So basically I'll be using a variable I first, and then I'll say for I is equal to 0, I less than what? The number of trains. What is the number of trains? Number of trains is m, I plus plus. And meanwhile what will I do? I will say pf of array of I of 2, right? Dot push back. What we are going to push? So we are going to push vector pairs. Now see, when you that is why I have said that please refer the activity selection problem, because if you refer to the activity selection problem, you will find that we basically sort the given task in the sort it in the order of the departure times, right? So that is why push dot back, I will first of all push into the array what? The departure time. The array of I comma 1 comma array of I and 0. Yeah, fine. See, let me explain you. So I is basically going to traverse all these rows, right? Remember, this is column number 0, column number 1, column number 2. Now when I say pf of array of I of 2, array of I of 2 is nothing but it will point to the last value of each row. And remember, the last value of each row is nothing but the platform number, right? You see, array of I means particular row, and column 2 means this one. This is nothing but the platform number. And when I say pf of 1, it is indicating that it is trying to refer to platform number 1 here in the vector. And we are going to push into that the departure time first, I comma 1, because departure time has index 1 and arrival time has index 0. Why I am pushing departure time first? Because I want to directly sort them, right? So when I directly sort them, and if there is a vector pair, it will be sorted in the order of the first value, and I want to sort them in the departure time, order of departure time. That is why I am pushing departure time first, right? So I'll put departure time first. So basically what will happen, you will see in vector in this vector 1 pf1, what will happen? 1030 comma 1000 will be pushed, right? So this value will be pushed here. You got one value here, right? Next time I will increment here again in platform number 2, this value will be pushed here. Again go ahead in this platform, in this particular row you will find out, again referring to platform number 1, so 1040 comma 1025 will be pushed here. 3 values pushed. Now similarly 2 values will be pushed in platform number 2 also. Done. Now what next? Now basically once we have pushed it, now what should we do? Let us see. So I hope this algorithm is clear. Now let me rub it, right, so that I can use this space. Now what we can do, basically I have created my vectors, right? All the train details have been pushed into the corresponding platform. Now I will basically apply activity selection problem to each of the platforms. So for that particular reason, what I'm going to do is basically I'll be saying for I is equal to 0, I less than equal to the number of platforms and I plus plus, right? And what will I do? I will basically say, let me make it nested for easy understanding. Yeah. So now what will I do is basically I will check if the pf of I dot size is equal to 0. Why? Whether now this is pf of I is referring to the platform. Now if that platform is empty, which means there is no train that is scheduled to come in that platform, so I don't have to do anything. Just continue, move to the next platform. Just simply move to the next platform. Now the moment I come to the next platform, what should I do? I should first of all ensure, now since I'm going to apply the activity selection problem to a platform, so before that I know that I should sort them, right? I should basically sort them. So let us do one thing, let us sort them beforehand, right? That will be much better. So for I equal to 0, comma I less than equal to n, I plus plus, what I'm going to do is I'm going to sort the details in each of the platforms. So pf of I dot begin, comma pf of I dot end. So what will happen? Basically, once I have pushed the train details here, I will basically sort each of these vectors into the order of their train details. So what will happen is basically, you see, let me write it. So first of all, let me just write this here. You remember in platform number 1, what I have, basically I will be pushing 1030, comma 1000, right? Then I will be pushing 1020, comma 1010. Then I will be pushing 1040, comma 1025, right? And similarly in platform number 2, what will I push? I will push 1145, the departure time first, comma arrival time 1130. Then 1140, comma 1130. Now since I have already pushed it here in this particular line, I have already pushed my all details are ready of platforms, right? These are the platform details, array vector, sorry. Now basically when I write vector dot sort, sorry, when I write pf dot I dot begin, pf dot I dot end, and sort it for every platforms. Now pf, this is empty, so no problem. This is also empty, no problem. Now when this will be sorted, what will happen? This will be converted into the format this. Now this is the departure time, right? Remember we have pushed the departure time first and then the arrival time in the pair. So when I write only sort, then it will basically consider this for the reference to sort. So I'll sort in the ascending order of their basically the departure time. So which row do you think come first? This one, 1020, right? So it will be 1020, comma 1010. What will be next? 1030, comma 100. What next? 1040, comma 1025. Done. Similarly, this platform 2 detail will also be sorted. What will happen? 1140, comma 1130. Similarly, 1145, comma 1130. Done. So we have sorted. Now this is basically nothing but departure time. Remember, this is nothing but arrival time. Second one is arrival time. Departure time, arrival time. Done. So we have already sorted. Now basically we are going to traverse through each of the platforms. So platform 0 is empty. So continue. Move to platform 1. This is my platform 1, right? This is my platform 1. This is my platform 2. Platform 3 is also empty because no train is scheduled there. So now what we will do? We will basically know that we are going to apply the activity selection problem as per our algorithm. And once again, please refer activity selection algorithm first before watching this video. So now we are in platform number 1 and we want to see what is the maximum number of trains that I can basically make stop in platform number 1. So for that, the first train will always be considered because its departure time is very less. In activity selection problem, this is what we do. The first train we will always allow it. So basically, we will say count plus plus. Initially, we will declare a variable count which is equal to 0. Count is equal to 0, right? Now the first train will always be considered. That is why we say count plus plus, and we come inside and say for. Let me declare one more variable, comma j. So for j is equal to basically 1. J less than what? J less than the number of the size of the vector. Size of the vector is nothing but pf of I dot size, right? This is the size of the vector. So for j is equal to 1, j less than pf dot size, and we will say j plus plus. What are we going to check now? Remember, we say count plus plus because we assumed always that the first train will always be allowed to basically stop. The first train is always allowed to stop here. Now because we have already sorted them in descending order, right? The first train will definitely be allowed to stop, and the first train I will just writing here previous is equal to 0. Previous means which is the previous train you are pointing to. So the 0th train I am pointing to. Previous equal to 0. So let us declare it here. in previous equal to 0. So now what I'm going to check, now I'm going to run a loop. Now I have already considered this, right? Count has increment by 1. Count is equal to 1 now because of count plus plus, right? It from 0 it become 1. Now this previous is pointing to the first trend. Now from this index to this last index, 1 to pf dot size, I'm going to check whether their arrival time is greater than or equal to the departure time. So I'll be checking if pf of I in this platform, the jth train dot second, because second is nothing but the arrival time value, is greater than or equal to pf of I dot, or not dot, j, not j, previous, right? Previous dot first. What does it mean? It means I'm going to check whether the arrival time of the trains, because this is not referring to nothing but pf of ij is what? Pf of I means pf of 1, platform 1, j is nothing but train number, this one, this train, dot second, this one, second argument, 1000 is greater than or equal to pfi previous. So pfi means this platform, previous is pointing to this, dot first is pointing to this. So basically if the arrival time of the current train is greater than or equal to the departure time of the previous train, then basically I will allow it, right? I will increment this, but I can see here the arrival time is 1000 and its departure time is 1020. Do you think I will allow it? No. So if it is allowed, then I will just say count plus plus, otherwise just keep on moving out. So this will not be allowed, so it will come here, j will come here. Now this train 1025, pfi j dot second 1025 is greater than or equal to pfi previous dot first. Yes, you see, this is greater than or equal to this one because the departure time is 1020 and the arrival time is 1025, which means this train is already holding, stopping in the station. This train will not be allowed because this is occupied by this train. Now at 1025 when this train will come, by that time this train will already leave the platform, so this will also be allowed to stop. So I will increment the count plus plus, and I will also update my previous pointer. The previous points to the latest train that is allowed. So which is the latest train that will be allowed? J, right? The previous equal to j, because j is the latest train that is allowed. This train, if I am accepting that this is the latest train that is allowed, so j is pointing to 2, so j will previous will be updated to 2, 20 point, so on. So we basically completed traversing platform number 1. So in platform number 1, how many trains did you find? 2. Count remains 2 only. Now we move to platform number 2. Once we move to platform number 2, this platform number I becomes 2. What will happen? Pf dot size equal to 0, false, because we have some trains in platform number 2. Come inside, count plus plus. So count will become what? 3. Why? Because the first train will always be allowed to stop in platform number 2. Departure time is 1140. Now j is equal to 1 to pf dot size. Basically I am traversing from here till the end of this vector. It's only this element is left. I will be checking if its arrival time is greater than or equal to the departure time. The arrival time is 1130 hours. Departure time is 1140 hours. Basically less than this, which means by that time this train will already occupy the platform. This will not be allowed to stop. The count will not increment. Go ahead. We are already at the end of the vector. What is the count? 3. We should return what? 3. So after this we should basically return nothing but count. Got the point? So I hope you got the intuition about how to solve this particular problem. Let us just compile and check whether the problem is working fine. So I hope I have not done any silly mistakes. So keeping that in mind, let us quickly compile it. Cool. See, we found out the maximum trains that will be stopped is nothing but 3 trains. 3 trains, right? So yeah, that's all from this particular video. I hope this video was helpful. In case of any doubt, please feel free to put it out in the comment section. Just like, share and subscribe. And yes, as I said, please also refer the activity selection problem, because this problem is nothing but applying activity selection to each of the platforms. That's it. The only conceptual part was just a trick. We have to separate these trains on the basis of their platforms, right? In which platform they are coming. So we are just creating a vector, pushing the trains in the corresponding vector, and then applying the activity selection problem to each of these vectors, and then finally doing the summation of the count. That's it. Yeah, I hope this was helpful. In case of any doubt, please feel free to put it out in the comment section. Just like, share and subscribe.